Away goes Hurst. Can he do it in the dying seconds? Braybrook. Are we going to have a sensational ending? Yes, we are! It's a goal! And that must be the winner!
Ronnie Boyce's goal brought the FA Cup to West Ham for the first time in their history in 1964. It was a proud year for their captain Bobby Moore and for the BBC, who launched a new Saturday night football show.
BBC Two. We're now showing the highlights of the match of the day between West Ham United and Tottenham Hotspur.
Welcome to Match of the Day, and it's our very first derby match. West Ham United against their near London neighbours, Tottenham Hotspur. And if we have a look at the West Ham United side, you'll notice that it is not the team that won the FA Cup at Wembley in May, because there are changes at centre-half, where Peters is in instead of Brown, and at outside right, where we have Seeley instead of Braybrook. This is Hurst. Oh, beautiful ball to Burn. He scored. Minutes of the second half gone. No, West Ham leading 1-0. Spurs on top now, and it's Jones. Robertson. Oh, Greaves, he must score, yes! West Ham riding a little too much in the middle now. Oh, it's a beautiful through ball from Robertson to Jones. Penalty. Penalty to Tottenham. Shot Jimmy Greaves to take it. Score 1-1. Beautiful goal by Greaves. Beautifully taken penalty. Seeley. Throw to West Ham. Now into Boyce. Seeley to Boyce. Penalty, a blatant push in the back. No argument about that at all. But the first for West Ham is taking the penalty. The chance to be a two-goal man, just like Jimmy Greaves has become. What tension there is now. Dead miss it. He has done. A fine save by Pat Kenny. West Ham's throw. Boyce to take it. Boyce has now moved up as an all-out attacker. Usually he's a midfield player. This is Boyce. Up goes Burn. A beautiful goal! Well, there's Budgie Burn. Made it 2-2 with 13 minutes left. Seeley with the corner for West Ham. Hurst, and the goal! Burn has won his hat-trick.
Leading the credits on Match of the Day that night was Budgie Burn, one of many crowd pleasers brought to Upton Park by Ron Greenwood, the high priest of skillful football. Later that season, the Match of the Day cameras saw the cup holders take on the league champions.
Hunt rather getting it back again from Graham to St John. Graham keeping it in play, just putting it to St John, across to Wallace. Stevenson trying a shot there, and he's onside, I think, yes. It's perfectly all right, and it's Hunt, the scorer. Sissons now moving away out to Cressland, who's come up very well. Sissons to Cressland, trying a shot, and it's not a bad shot, and it's in! Now, I don't know, but I'm going to say that Smith got his head to it, and there's the scorer, Cressland. Oh, what a debut for this young man. There's the score, West Ham 1, Liverpool 1. Peters putting it forward there to Hurst. Hurst, and that's the... Oh yes, it's been allowed to stand. The referee had a quick glance at the linesman, and Hurst set it delicately. Just placed it over to the top of Lawrence's head, and that's West Ham now, 7 minutes into the second half, that go 2-1 in the lead.
They were also at Wembley again, this time in the final of the European Cup Winners' Cup, against strong West German opposition.
Shabana off the mark. Now it's Boyce. He's got Seeley free on the right. This could be a goal for West Ham. Yes, the goal, and Seeley has scored. No, it's not quite in the picture yet. Here he comes. Oh, Boyce to Hurst, and Seeley has made it two. Seeley has made it two.
A classic final and another trophy for West Ham and Bobby Moore. The team he led in the mid-60s mingled the experience of men like Jim Standen, Ken Brown, Peter Braybrook, Boyce and Byrne with the sparkling potential of young Martin Peters, converted striker Geoff Hurst and winger John Sissons. The Upton Park crowd feasted on football with flair.
Oh, I wonder what Alan Hodgkinson is thinking and saying. The five forwards rather got out of rhythm then. Moore to Braybrook. He's got Hurst in the middle. Hurst being covered by Melander, and Braybrook has scored. Byrne to Brown. Here's Peters, that was a bad clearance. Sissons, and Sissons, Hurst, number 3. And here comes Moore, ramping through that sticky mud. Looked a bit over the line, but the linesman says no. Now Hurst to Peters. Peters gets the ball.
That combination of Hurst and Peters was to command wider acclaim a few months later. Both forced their way into the England team, preparing as hosts for the World Cup. It was the biggest television sports operation ever mounted in Britain. The BBC masterminded the worldwide coverage, developing innovations like the use of videotape and analysing the key moments with a new toy, the Action Replay Machine. Bobby Moore, at 25, captain of England, was a local lad made good at West Ham. Born in Barking, he now had the world at his feet.
Now, Moore moving up with the attack. And brought down by Overath. With the free kick. It goes! It's an equaliser! Ball with the corner. Hurst. What a chance! A goal! Peters. Here's Ball running himself daft. And now Hurst, can he do it? He has done, yes! Yes! No, the linesman says no. The linesman says no. It's a goal! It's a goal! Oh, and the Germans go mad at the referee. This line, at the linesman who can only speak Russian and Turkish. It's all over, I think. No, it's Schuberg. It is now. It's 4. And Charlton. And the players bring themselves down. 10 seconds to go. Hurst has got a hat-trick. Hurst has got 3. And Bobby Moore comes up to receive the Jules Rimet Trophy for England. Her Majesty the Queen. It's only 12 inches high, solid gold, and it means England are the world champions.
With Moore, Hurst and Peters now national heroes, Match of the Day, switched that summer to BBC One, began the following season at Upton Park.
And I think we must at this point say welcome to our new viewers, the viewers too who followed us from BBC Two, and also the new fans who've been won over to soccer by the World Cup. We hope that you'll go along to watch your local team as well as watching Match of the Day. And in reply to your many requests, yes, I will explain the more technical points of the game as we go along. And here come the 3 World Cup players coming out on the road. Bobby Moore 5, number 10 Geoff Hurst, the man who got the hat-trick. Number 4 Martin Peters. And the Chelsea players stand and applaud these 3 great stars of West Ham United and England, the world champions.
The following season, those 3 superstars were joined by an England player of the future.
Hurst screening the ball well to Brooking as Peters. Good ball, that. Great goal. Brooking the scorer. Truly has established himself on the side this season. A good ball to Lodge. Oh, well set up. Spark, and what a goal! What a beauty! Glover on to Roberts. Well played, Roberts. Oh, it was going biggie, what a goal! Lodge! You beauty! Good running by Hurst again. Got Schuberg with him. And a superb cross, and there's the equaliser. What a good one it was too. Brian Deere, the scorer. And what a match between 2 sides, only 3 points from bottom. The quality of football, the standard, quite astonishing. Really worthy of teams challenging for the championship. Sissons with the corner. Oh, it's in! Oh, it's right in! Squeezed into the post, and it's all happening in this match. Shilton, it might be scored as an own goal. It could be an own goal by Shilton. 5 goals to remember so far in this match, and just under 3 minutes of football still to come. And here's Deere loose, and that's it. Oh yes, what a goal, and that settled it. Brian Deere's 2nd goal of the match, his 5th against Leicester City in the holiday game, makes it 4-2 for West Ham United, and that is an exact repeat of the scoreline on Boxing Day.
Tactically, Greenwood's West Ham had fresh ideas.
Here's Peters in, moves Hurst. Free kick to West Ham. Hurst. Peters. These 2 are just like brothers. Ron Greenwood, the manager of West Ham United. This goal by Geoff Hurst seemed to be so well taken as if you'd rehearsed it time and time again.
Well, it isn't a question of rehearsing, it's a question of understanding. We know where we can put the ball. You see, we're putting the ball where people don't want us to put it, or where people expect it to come. We put it in a different place. If we do this, that means that the mental telepathy between one player and another's got to be right, and in this particular instance, Geoffrey always knows where Martin's going to put the ball, and vice versa, or even from Bobby or any of our players. We drop the ball in short away from people. In other words, if you can imagine you're marking something, well, if I throw it at you, you've got a good chance of getting the ball off me because it's coming at both of us. But if we drop the ball short in anticipation of my colleague coming towards it, well, the defender isn't aware of where the ball's going. In other words, he's reacting to the attacker, and then he's just a fraction too late, and this is what we capitalise the whole movement on.
West Ham were featured on the first match of the day to be screened in colour. Chris Lawler put Liverpool ahead at Anfield, a ground where traditionally the Hammers have always had their work cut out.
It's Thompson. It's going to come right back. Smith.
When Martin Peters was transferred to Tottenham, Jimmy Greaves came in part exchange.
This is Greaves. Still there, Greaves. Minutes of the match gone, and Jimmy Greaves has done it again. Scored on his debut for every club, for Chelsea, for Tottenham, for England, for AC Milan, and now for West Ham United. There are enough players up. Holland, Hurst, Greaves coming in, number 2. Straight back from Boyce. What a goal! What an unbelievable goal! A terrible clearance from Corrigan, and Boyce said, take that!
Spontaneity was a West Ham trademark, good players expressing themselves.
Moore to take the free kick. Hurst across, Best behind. And between them they made it! Bernard. Greenhoff. Took a ball to Ritchie. Lovely turn. Dobing. Lampard. Again, 4 to aim for the cross. There's an intelligent one to Bobby Moore. Got a ricochet or somebody.
A rare goal for the skipper, and joining in the celebrations, a young man called Billy Bonds. A few weeks later, the Hammers met Stoke again, this time at the Victoria Ground, in the first leg of the semi-final of the Football League Cup.
Easton. Marsh. Again aimed at Ritchie. Greenhoff. It's in. He's Dobing. That's Bonds. Brooking, who's really not been able to get into this game very much so far in the middle of the field. Best. Appeal for a penalty given. The referee could hardly do anything else then. Geoff Hurst, number 9, will take it against his England colleague Gordon Banks. Banks almost got there. He went the right way. That's Brooking for West Ham. West Ham more and more in this match in the second half. Bonds. That's Robson to Bonds. Redknapp. Best! What a beautiful goal! Superbly taken!
Despite that victory, the Hammers eventually lost a 4-match marathon and Stoke went to Wembley. By now, Trevor Brooking was a growing influence in a West Ham side with popular appeal at home and away.
Bonds. Good effort! Oh, my goal by Bonds! Martin not very happy, but Bonds is. Nicely floating ball, Best! Oh, what a good goal! You cannot play statues when this West Ham attack is on song. Ball to put it back to Brooking, beaten by Byrne. Payne and Hurst. Calmly played by Payne, but he gives it away. Brooking. Davies up to help Jenkins. I think he may well have to go it alone. Yes, he does! And the penalty given! Bobby Ferguson to face Jimmy Gabriel. Example of sending the goalkeeper the wrong way. Shannon. So Mick Shannon makes it 3-2. And West Ham will ask how he managed to get the header from that sort of angle round his man. Payne. Shannon. First time wanted. Littleton was enough for more to get a dig in, but this is Payne can try one. And he does! Oh, what a good goal by Terry Payne! He's ecstatic, and so are they!
That was typical West Ham. They were always entertaining. Goals were guaranteed at both ends, and even old favourites were treated generously.
Hurst is in there, and he scored! He said at lunchtime that he'd like to make one, although the overall victory was more important. And listen to the appreciation he's getting from the crowd. Lampard, Moore is square. Moore, who scored in this match last season. Brooking. Robson making space for Wiley, and he scores! Robson's 14th goal. Suddenly it's a little bit ragged at the back for Stoke. Harris. Conroy, straight to Brooking. Watson! Appeals for offside, but the linesman was level on this side. The referee looked at him quickly. Into the last quarter of an hour now of the match. West Ham still to make it sure. Holland. Good header, Wilder. Lampard. Best.
Goals like that from Clyde Best had the Hammers on course for their joint best ever position in the First Division in 1973. They finished 6th and also had the joint top scorer in the Football League, 28-goal Brian Pop Robson.
Robson. To Charles. Best. Robson. Yes, 1-0. That's Macari. Harris back to Bonds. Best against Holton. The goalkeeper uncertain. There was total uncertainty, and it's 2-0. Morgan has spelled trouble most of the time to this defence, and he's round the back again. Well cut out. Player cut it out was Taylor. And a penalty's been given. This is vital to Manchester United to pull them back. See Bobby Charlton's expression then. You could see the tension in Charlton's face when he blew out his cheeks. But in his whole career, he's never hit a penalty better than he hit that one. He's through the gap. Yes! McCorry!
The Hammers' defensive frailties made them vulnerable to teams from the lower divisions in the FA Cup in the early 70s.
Colin Taverner with a throw. Looking for Redrobe, and Redrobe gets it. It's a goal! Redrobe the man! And against the run of the latter part of the play, Hereford go into the lead through Eric Redrobe. This is Brian Evans. It's 4 against 3. Brian Evans. This is Taverner. Taverner with a cross. Busby hit the post. Busby off the line. What a let-off for West Ham United. And what a tremendous effort by these men from Hereford. They came out of nowhere and they almost got another goal. 2 minutes plus injury time left and Hereford United grimly holding on. Out come West Ham again. Holland. He's got Tyler with him. And he's beaten him. Holland still in possession. It's there! It's there! 2 minutes left to play and Pat Hollands carried that ball from one end of the field to the other. What a sensational finish. Children coming on from all over the pitch. And young Pat Hollands, the substitute, is the man who shakes his fists. They wrote in a superhuman effort, and they got a superhuman effort from Pat Hollands. What a great run by Pat Hollands. It needed something like that to lift West Ham, and my goodness, he gave it everything.
But in the replay, the Hammers showed their Achilles heel again.
West Ham finding themselves some space. Lampard. Best on the far post. And that's a good goal by Clyde Best. Tyler. There's Evans. Penalty. All eyes now on Tommy Naylor and on Mervyn Day. Comes to Tyler. There's Jones. Yes! Alan Jones has scored!
A muddy pitch at Hereford was not the ideal surface for Greenwood's team to play the finely tuned football that enthralled Upton Park.
Brooking inside, here's Brooking, Hughes covering the run, back again to Best, to Padden, to Lampard. It's still on for West Ham in spite of the groans. Now McDowell. Best, Lampard. Oh, what a goal! And suddenly the groans of the crowd become ecstatic cheers on surely one of the best goals seen here this season. All good pace. Ford across it too. Did well. Here's Toshak. Toshak is the scorer. Brooking making a run in the inside right position. Here's Holland. Padden out to the left. Best is there for the nod down to Brooking. What a superbly built goal. Ray Clements will be hoping what's happened this Saturday doesn't repeat itself next week. Liverpool still going at full throttle. Here's Hall. Callaghan to his left. Trying to create some space for Cormac and has done so. Hughes is up in the area. So is Keegan!
One England captain in the making, another on the way out. The last of around 650 appearances Bobby Moore made for West Ham came in the humble setting of a reserve match against Plymouth. The pin-up boy, who played 108 times for England, was about to leave. Moore's presence, poise and perfectionism made him an Upton Park legend for 15 years. He was a colossus in football kit, an example to many schoolboys.
But if I can pass in any information to any young boy that wants to emulate him, they've got to understand the hours of hard work that that boy's put in to perfect all that he does now and makes it look so simple that hard work eventually does produce simplicity. And in my book, he represents football in its greatness, of the peak of greatness. Simplicity is genius.
Moore signed for Fulham, joining up with former England colleague Alan Mullery. He and his old club went their separate ways, eventually meeting up at Wembley. West Ham were away to Southampton in the third round.
It's Lampard. And a shot, it's in! Oh dear! And it's Long gets the header. It's there!
The winner there from Bobby Gould. Now the quarter-final at Highbury.
Now Robson. And the Bud almost beat them all. Padden. Yes! Alan Taylor puts it in. Matthews. Nice piece of skill, and what a save by Day! The ground beat Lampard, now it's Kidd and they beat him too, and Bond back to Day. Oh, penalty! No, the referee Ken Burns was right there. Bradford just couldn't turn enough. Ball, Matthews. Goalkeeping supreme. Bonds. Taylor, Brooking. Taylor, number 9.
21-year-old Alan Taylor, signed only 4 months earlier from Rochdale, became the Hammers' Cup hero. Those 2 goals in the 6th round were followed by 2 more in the semi-final replay against Ipswich Town at Stamford Bridge. It was a night when Ipswich themselves, despite equalising with that own goal by Billy Jennings, had 2 other efforts disallowed by referee Clive Thomas. Then, 10 minutes from time, Taylor struck again to put the Hammers through to Wembley in John Lyall's first season as team manager. No wonder when the Hammers reached their cup final hotel that Taylor was the man in the spotlight.
Out of the shadow. It really is a bit of a special dream come true for you. I mean, you get your first match against Arsenal and you score 2 goals. You get 2 in the semi-final.
Yeah, I think I've come a long way this year, big step up, but I think the rest of the lads have helped me tremendously.
You've got the party line in.
Trying to spoil Hammers' party, none other than Bobby Moore, now playing for Fulham.
Fraser for Fulham. Mitchell. Conway. Mullery. Found himself so much space today. Cutbush. No whistle. Oh! 2 mistakes by Cutbush, and this is Holland. Taylor's in the middle, but covered now by Moore. Jennings. Alan Taylor. Right through Peter Mellon. Bonds beginning to break. Jennings. Bonds again. Trying to find Padden. There's Lampard, cleared by number 2 Cutbush. Padden again. Patsy Holland, who started the goal move through the fullback's mistake. Padden found space. And Taylor again. And FA Cup football in 3 rounds. 65 minutes, 2 goals in 4 minutes, and no one would dare to write a story like this, even in a fictional world. The cup to be presented by His Royal Highness the Duke of Kent, President of the Football Association. And the crowd at the far end rise in salute.
Billy Bond's team emulated their 1964 predecessors by reaching the final of the European Cup Winners' Cup, where they lost to Anderlecht.
Van Dijk. 4-2.
West Ham's league position had suffered in those vintage cup years, and now a real decline set in. The Hammers faced relegation in the spring of 1978.
Swain going onto the line almost. Came in. Oh, and Phillips very quickly. That was unfortunate at the end because Tommy Taylor, I think the player who was nearest the goalkeeper, Steve Wick's rather angry, as defenders tend to be when goalkeepers get a kick in the head. I don't think there was any intent about that on Tommy Taylor's part. Tommy Langley, the substitute for Bill Garner in the first half, is going to take over in goal. It's got in! David Cross got to the near post. That's Cross on the far side, knocking it back. Lampard. Here's Taylor. Green is in there, and Bill Green has scored his first ever goal for West Ham, and what a time to score it. Well, this could be a most important victory for West Ham. This is Cross to Brooking. Oh, and Pat Holland is through. 3.
Despite that victory, the Hammers still went down. There was no immediate return to the First Division, but the signing of David Cross had produced a regular goal supply.
Siddle beating Martin and Bonds, back by Stewart. Tangle of players. Cross! David Cross, the scorer. Ashurst's mistake, but didn't matter. Well, this one might. Devonshire. Pearson!
Stuart Pearson's first goal for West Ham following his signing from Manchester United was his 100th in league football. Later that season, he was to score a more important one, as Match of the Day featured the Hammers in the FA Cup semi-final.
West Ham led by a clean-shaven Billy Bonds behind the mascot. On their way, the first team out, and their loyal East London support is here at Villa Park to give them a genuine Cockney welcome this afternoon.
The Hammers now had a £500,000 goalkeeper in Phil Parks, the likes of Ray Stewart and Alvin Martin in defence, and 17-year-old Paul Allen in midfield. John Lyle had rebuilt the team boldly and intelligently, without ever sacrificing the principles of playing the West Ham way.
Kidd. Well played by Everton. King again. Eastow's made the run through the middle. Oh, and Bonds missed it, and Eastow is through. And Parks has made a crucial save. The most expensive goalkeeper in the world was called upon early. Here's Ross. Hartford. Bailey. Parks coming for this and taking it well. He'll have confidence now after making a save as important as that. Eastow was through because Bonds made the error. Eastow's shot was parried by Parks, and they all held their breath before it went just, for West Ham anyway, the safe side of the post. Here's Stewart. Still Ray Stewart. Oh, what a good save! Well, the shot was good to start with, but the save by Hodge matched what Parks had done earlier. Hartford. Oh, and they all missed that apart from Martin. It's certainly a penalty. Devonshire is complaining and being shown the yellow card, but a penalty has been given. Well, I think that must have been given for a push. The ball was played in from the left. Andy King went for the ball with Alan Devonshire, who may have shoved him out the way rather, and although the ball ran on and was cleared, the referee must have given the penalty for a push by Devonshire on King. So Kidd against Parks. And Everton are in the lead. Brian Kidd the scorer, and it went right in the middle of the goal. Away by King, but how far? Driven off by Ray Stewart, appeals for handball. I think it was Ross that was flattened by the shot, and West Ham thought it was a handball. Driven again, and a deflection too. The second shot was by Devonshire, and it caught another player's head, and Hodge still got behind it. But what about the first shot from Ray Stewart? That's the one that flattened Trevor Ross. Oh, what a tangle on the far side, and the linesman having to go in and separate the two players. It's all getting out of hand again. Brian Kidd and Ray Stewart getting very, very involved. Brian Kidd is sent off for the second time in the FA Cup this season for fighting with Ray Stewart. 20 minutes to go. West Ham a goal down, but still coming forward, and don't forget they're playing against 10 men. Brooking is in space here. Pearson in the centre. Pearson's coming in. It's there. Pearson near post. A goal superbly made by Brooking, and typically tucked away by the former England centre forward Stuart Pearson. Brooking beat the offside trap. He was so aware of what was in the centre. He kept calm, carried the ball through, and just knocked it into the near post. And Pearson scores what has to go down as a typical Pearson goal and a typical West Ham goal.
So the supporters moved camp to Elland Road, Leeds, where in the replay the Hammers discovered two somewhat unlikely goal-scoring heroes.
Brooking. Again, that so important look up. Devonshire. Pearson, Devonshire, he's in the gap! Can he put it in again? Oh, that's a brilliant goal! That is a marvellous goal! Latchford, Berardi, Lampard who got it away, but up comes Wright, 7 minutes left. Plenty of Everton players forward. Oh, that's done it superbly by Latchford! Pike, Brooking, cross, and oh, it's gone in by Lampard! Frank Lampard has scored for West Ham!
East Ham-born Lampard, Hammers left back for 15 seasons, put the club into their third post-war FA Cup final. They'd won the first two. Now they were the second division underdogs.
And West Ham can break here with Brooking. Pearson, who made the earlier move. Devonshire. Oh, Devonshire's round the back. Oh, right across, it's free. Driven in, and is it a goal? It is! Trevor Brooking. The ball ricocheted off him, and West Ham are in front. Alan Devonshire made it possible. The ball over to the far side of the goal. In they came, trying to make contact, and watch number 10, Brooking. He scored from inside the 6-yard box. Billy Bonds lifts the FA Cup for West Ham. And East London delirious.
And again the following season when West Ham won promotion.
Devonshire coming to take it. Room to pick somebody out. And it's David Cross! number 13. Trevor Brooking there in the crowd on the right, like everybody else, must be feeling that another West Ham goal is imminent. Curious, and Pike shot and a good save at cross. Swiggerty's second. A rather strange clearance really by De Vries, set that up. Pike's shot met by a really fine save, but no problem for David Cross to tuck it in.
The Hammers were going up as champions.
A dive in by Leonard, and Brookings got away from both of them. And the result of that is a goal from Alan Devonshire. Barnes. Foul by Griffin. Griffin didn't agree, but it seemed to me that he tripped him. And taken by Cross. And that's 2-0, right at the death. He goes to congratulate Brooking, who reciprocates.
That same season, there was the bonus for the Hammers and their supporters of another Wembley Cup final appearance. This time in the Football League Cup, where their opponents were a Liverpool side who would dominate the 80s. Match of the Day showed extended highlights on the Sunday afternoon, and You'll Never Walk Alone was at times drowned by I'm Forever Blowing Bubbles.
Case, McDermott with the run, covered by Devonshire, and the free kick has been given against Bonds, who's very unhappy about the verdict. Dalglish was prepared to smile, and not surprisingly. Well, it was from a free kick that Liverpool got the ball in the net once. And it was ruled out because of Irwin's run. Irwin has taken a position this time nearest us on the near side. Number 4. We might see a crack here from Case. We do indeed. And it comes back off Brooking, I think. Alan Kennedy's poached forward. There's Irwin. Bonds at the back. Martin only to Alan Kennedy, who puts it in! And Alan Kennedy, no, it's not going to count. It's not going to count. They're going over to the linesman. Is it going to count? Yes, it is going to count. And Alan Kennedy has scored with his right foot. Pearson goes to talk to the linesman on the far side, Mr. Jeremy. Great complaints from West Ham as Liverpool go away to congratulate each other, and the referee is going again to talk to the linesman. A goal it is. 3 minutes from time. A man famed for his ability on his left. A clearance from Alvin Martin, and Kennedy sinks it with his right, and he'll remember that for many a long day. Jimmy Neighbour. Oh, he's squared away this time. Devonshire just will not run. Free kick has been given right on the edge of the box. Bonds wants it inside, but the referee says right on the edge. And I think Mr. Thomas was right. Devonshire down hurt. There's there to be a further twist in the tail. One goal by Alan Kennedy. And West Ham thought that a player was offside. Sammy Lee, I think. Ray Stewart poised. Oh, magnificent save by Ray Clements. They all go to congratulate him. And he's kept the Football League Cup in Liverpool's hands. Neighbour with the corner. Alvin Martin hit the crossbar. Penalty. It was handled up by Terry McDermott. When I said as we started extra time, so often what has gone before in 90 minutes changes totally in the extra 30-minute period, and it's all come right at the end. The ball turned onto the crossbar by Terry McDermott from the header by Alvin Martin. 6 of his 7 goals this season have come from the penalty spot, but none as important as this.
and he puts it in. And Clements is down on his knees as they go to congratulate Ray Stewart. Clements, who made the most brilliant save a few seconds ago.
Despite his reservations about Liverpool's goal, John Lyall was delighted with the comeback. Although his team lost the replay at Villa Park, West Ham lost only 4 of the 42 league matches they played that season, and now rubbed shoulders with Liverpool again, this time in the First Division.
And the ball comes to Pike. What a superb goal by Jeff Pike. And again, so many yellow Liverpool jerseys forward. This one is Alan Kennedy. He got to the line well, Parks drops it, and Johnson heads the equaliser.
Back in the top grade, the Hammers finished 9th. The following season, 8th.
Devonshire. Dickens drifting into space. Good looking cross, got up, flicks it on, what a fine save, but Swindlehurst bundles it home. And there was a touch of Trevor Brooking about that cross from Dickens. Dickens, another tight angle. And that I think is a corner. Short to Dickens, back it goes. Well, Devonshire. The shot by Bonds and turned in. Billy Bonds claiming it. Swindlehurst tried to just make sure that Bonds gets the goal. And inevitably, it was Alan Devonshire who played a vital part in the build-up. A wild tackle by Peter With, and he clashes with Billy Bonds. And that's good refereeing, isn't it, by Clive Thomas? Because a great moment.
1983-84 was Trevor Brooking's last season.
Stewart, Swindlehurst coming in at the back. And turned in on the far side by Trevor Brooking. Pike. Brooking once more in the role of front player. Or the Devonshire. Really one man to beat. Yes! And I think it went in off Chris White. Devonshire. Brooking trying to tee it up and does. Whitten, and here is Pike. Yes, number 3.
The Hammers now discovered a potent new strike force. Frank McAvenny, signed from St Mirren, and Tony Cottee, West Ham born and a boyhood fan, scored 53 goals between them in their first season together. One came when Match of the Day covered the FA Cup 3rd round.
And a miscue by Humphrey and McAvenny. Can he do it? It looks as though it's going in for Tony Cottee.
Oh, a lovely turn by Cottee. Yes, McAvenny!
Devonshire. And still, Cottee arriving. Oh, it's a goal. Typical West Ham. 59 minutes. Tony Cottee.
Alvin Martin.
Oh, that's a good ball. McAvenny. Clean through. Round the goalkeeper. Frank McAvenny. 2-0. Thoroughly well deserved.
Come the end of the season, it looked as though West Ham might win the First Division Championship for the first time in their 86-year history. They arrived at the Hawthorns on the last Saturday, knowing they had to beat West Brom and hoped that Liverpool and Everton faltered elsewhere. Events unfolded on Match of the Day.
Carlton Palmer penalised and quickly taken. McAvenny. Away by Dyson to Orr. That was blocked by Statham. So 8 minutes gone. And Neil Orr with West Ham's first strike at goal, blocked by Statham. McAvenny! Yes! What a start for West Ham.
McAvenny's 28th goal of the season, and looped it high and out of the reach of Stuart Naylor in the West Brom net as the Albion defenders stood and watched. Now McAvenny, just faced by Cowdrell. Only support is from Cotty, his little partner. He's put it into his path. Oh, what a good shot by Cotty. And again, a brilliant interchange between McAvenny and Cotty. Oh, West Brom are certainly busy. That's a West Ham free kick. Devonshire to Dickens. Finds McAvenny, who finds Cotty. Surely this is number 2. It is! Another perfect bit of football by West Ham, and that really was the result of the free kick in their own half, which they took very quickly, while one or two of the Albion players were looking in puzzlement at the referee to try to find out why he'd penalised them. West Ham took the free kick, they got the ball forward to Dickens, he found McAvenny, McAvenny turned inside and found Cotty, and that was number 2. As simple as you please. Martin penalised. The referee wants the ball brought back. Whitehead knocks it forward, looking for Dyson, and Madden, yes! Craig Madden's second goal for West Bromwich Albion. Whitehead took the free kick. It was knocked on by Paul Dyson, and that's in the back of West Ham's net. So 33 minutes gone, and it's 2-1. Riley, and again Riley. Oh, was that a penalty? Yes, it was. A rather clumsy challenge on Riley by George Paris has given Albion the opportunity to level the score from the penalty spot, and it will be taken by Riley. It's 2-2. Albion celebrate, but what a real disappointment that is for West Ham. Dickens and Devonshire. Devonshire running from the halfway line. Still on his feet. Oh, and gets it out to Ward. Now, what can you do from this position? Handball, claim the crowd, and it's given. Stay them in the way, and that was handball. So now it's Stuart Naylor's turn in the Albion goal to face a penalty, to be taken by Ray Stewart, who's scored with a penalty in West Ham's last 2 matches, penalties which have given them victory on each occasion. That's 3 out of 3 for Stewart. It's 3-2 to West Ham, and incredibly, are we going to see another Stewart penalty win a 3rd consecutive match for his team?
Despite winning 6 games in a row, the Hammers had to settle for 3rd place, still their best ever league position. The following season wasn't as good, but Match of the Day Live still chose to go to Upton Park.
Showing 3 players in the 6-yard area. Up comes Dickens. Timed it so well. And it was a real looper. Devonshire's corner. There were 3 players in the 6-yard area. They started to come out. Dickens had arrived in, and just over the despairing hand of Southall and the defender on the line.
Now it was Match of the Day, the road to Wembley. It was fitting that Upton Park should stage the BBC's first live match under the new television contract. Nowhere is football better appreciated, and nowhere is there a stronger rapport between players and fans than in East London. Liam Brady fitted in perfectly in the twilight of his career, and fittingly faced his old club.
Devonshire. Rossegna. Devonshire looks for Dickens and Kelly, and there's a chance here for Alan Dickens, and West Ham have taken the lead. Alan Dickens. Arsenal got caught, there was only one man back, I think it was Richardson, but there were two against him, and the bottom team in the first division from Devonshire's through ball take the lead against the leaders. Dickens. Potts. Ince. Good play by West Ham. It's Potts' cross. Dickens with Lukic. And it's in! It's 2-0 and Arsenal are all over the place. Alan Dickens jumped with the goalkeeper and somehow that dropped in the net. It was Steve Potts who fed the ball in. Well, whether Dickens got a touch, whether that was the defender, that's 2-0 whatever happens. Devonshire. Well, it was the long ball again, I suppose, but here's Merson for Arsenal. Still Merson. And they've got one back. Smith. Bold was there, Merson was there, and it's in. It's 2-2.
And that meant a replay at Highbury and a sentimental journey for Liam Brady.
Merson's clearance only back as far as Brady. Oh, how well he did that. Strodder's there, so is Dickens. And Adams pauses, Rossegna was there, and West Ham have scored! Leroy Rossegna! Devonshire. Dix. And Kelly surely, Ince, Rossegna, goal! Leroy got it. Any one of three could have scored. And West Ham breathe a huge sigh of relief. Julian Dix plays it in, Kelly goes near post, doesn't get it, Ince can't get it, Rossegna scrambles it in by the post.
That victory put West Ham into the 5th round, where they played Charlton Athletic at Selhurst Park. It was a promising product of the Hammers youth policy, Stuart Slater, who scored the winner here. The 6th round tie against Norwich went to a replay at Carrow Road, where West Ham's goal came from a young man who would make them a lot of money.
Oh, he's given it to Slater. Ince. It's 2-1, and Rosario sinks to his knees in despair.
But this goal was very much a last throw, both for Paul Ince, who was transferred to Manchester United, and for West Ham, who were relegated to the 2nd division after 8 years in the 1st. To the surprise of many, the club, who had always preached loyalty in the past, sacked long-serving John Lyle, manager for 15 years. His successor briefly was Lou Macari, but then the club turned back to Billy Bonds, who made more appearances for West Ham than any other player in their history. Under Bonds, the Hammers went 21 games unbeaten at the start of the 1990-91 season. He epitomised the family spirit that's made West Ham United a football club in the best and truest tradition.